everyone, it's Whisper Spinner, and I wanted to do something a little different today, and that is that I would like to do some fragrance perfume. Okay, and if that's all right, and that sounds like something you would enjoy, please stay tuned. Right, so a little background, I guess. Not that it's necessary. I'm not really an expert, so please forgive me if I don't know all the correct terminology. There's a lot of terminology around perfumes. There's like the opener and then the sillage and the dry down and all that fun stuff that what it refers to is how the perfume smells when you first spray it on and what it's like when it has some time to settle on your skin and whether or not it has a big presence that can bother other people. So first, I guess I'll say you can guess my age if I tell you that the first perfume probably I ever wore was Love's Baby Soft, which was a very 80s perfume, very gentle and soft for girls. And I remember getting a gift set that had the pink one, and then there was like I thought it was turquoise, but maybe I'm misremembering. I'm not sure, but anyway, that was sort of the first perfume I remember. And another perfume that I remember was I had this My Little Pony perfume parlor, and it was shaped like a big bottle of perfume, and you could squeeze the puff thing on it and it would spray kind of a lilac kind of perfume, and it wasn't actual perfume, it was just scented plasticky stuff. So I don't know if anyone's listening and you remember that, you can feel nostalgic with me. When I was in junior high, I think somebody bought me Benetton Colors as perfume, and I wore that. I remember wearing that in junior high. I smelled it years later at a Benetton shop in Dublin, and it just did not smell the same. It smelled awful, really. So I don't know if the formulation changed or my taste changed. Possibly a bit of both. I don't know if any of you remember when, if you're American and you had Bath and Body Works, they made this liquid talc, and there was kind of a raspberry liquid talc that everybody just covered themselves in after gym class. And I haven't smelled it, but I'm sure if I smelled it again, the sugary, over the top, sweet, disgusting smell would probably remind me of being sort of grimy after gym class. I don't know. No shade. I know sweet perfumes are extremely popular. I love when the other ASMR artists that are a bit, let's face it, they're better than me. The really great ASMR artists do perfume videos. I love that. Maria does one, and she likes quite fresh and fruity perfumes, it seems, very sweet. And I love Maria, but I don't love fresh and fruity. Fresh and fruity is not the fragrance for me. So, but no, I love her. I love that perfume counter type videos. I think Queen of Serene does one too. That's kind of a classic. Anyway, I am not in their league, but what I will do is, hopefully my chair isn't creaking too loudly, but I have 2 perfumes tonight, and I'm hoping to have 2 perfumes in another video to come later. But maybe I'll wait and see if you guys like this. Now, backtracking a little. So I wore Colors by Benetton, and then at one point at university, my friend worked at Lush, and she got me Karma perfume. And if you've never smelled Karma, it is very strong patchouli and citrus, I think. I'm not sure what is with the patchouli. It's potent. That stuff it's very strong. It's very bold. It's very free-spirited, and I wore it a lot. I wore it until I didn't like it anymore, and it ran out, and then I switched to Baker, and I wore that for a long time, and I liked it until I kind of thought maybe I should go back to Karma. And when I went back to Karma from Ted Baker, it was just too spiky. It just wasn't right for me. It was almost like had a sharpness. And it's not the patchouli, because I love patchouli. In fact, I don't wear much perfume anymore, but one of the things I do wear that I'm not really reviewing here is just plain patchouli oil. And that's probably the one thing that when I wear it, people comment on it. They will say that I smell good, or, I had a stranger in Boots come up and ask me what I was wearing, and somewhere else. Usually it's women come up and they ask, like, what are you wearing? But yeah, people at work notice. Patchouli itself seems to fit well with my body chemistry, but the patchouli that's in Karma is mixed with something. Maybe it's cedar. It's I don't know, but it's just doesn't work right. It's just not right for me. So after that, I had a bit of a flirtation with jasmine kind of things. I had some kind of jasmine perfume also from Lush. I remember that came in sort of a black sprayer, and I kept that in my handbag. And then I kind of drifted away from that. Then in my early 30s, I found that my husband doesn't like real strong fragrances, or he just, not crazy about them. So I kind of didn't wear fragrances much. And we lived on a farm, and we just never didn't have very many situations where it seemed appropriate to wear perfume. And I would go into London, and it would just overwhelm me, the smell of everyone's perfume, and Axe body spray, just like suffocating. Not a fan of that. So I just kind of stopped wearing perfume, and I think I bought kind of a solid perfume from Lush, and my cat lashed out at me, and my husband said, "Oh, I hate that." And I thought, gosh, there's something in this that the boys in my life do not like, so I will just not wear it. So that was the end of that. And since then I haven't really worn too much perfume. I associate perfume with, I don't know, slightly different phase of life, I guess, than my 30s. It was definitely in the 90s was kind of a special time for perfume. Calvin Klein came out with all these like really, at the time, like dramatic perfume ads. There was CK1, which is a unisex fragrance. I think it tends towards masculine, but I definitely wore CK1 in high school. My sister wore Poème, and Tresor, is that one? I wore Chloe Narcisse for a while, which just, it's very cloying. I just can't. It's funny how sometimes different parts of your life, different phases, you like different things. So, I did pick on fresh fruity smells, well, earlier, but who knows? There will come a time in my life maybe where that is the scent that I like the most. But at the moment, I just have to go by what I like in the now, right? So, as I was saying, I stopped wearing perfume for a long time. And it was only when we had company come stay at our house and my friend Mimi put on some perfume as they were leaving. So these friends came from Australia and they stayed at our house for like one night, and then they had to move on to see other friends because they were only in the country for a limited time. And my friend Mimi had put on slightly something kind of nice, and then she put on perfume, and there was just something about this like glamorous woman in our house, dressed nice, and she just smelled like a magazine. And I thought, oh, Mimi, I love that. What are you wearing? It was just such a blast of glamour in our little rustic farmhouse that normally just smelled like horses and anthracite and wool. And she said, well, it's just a cheap little perfume called Noah by Cacharel. Noah by Cacharel, and that's our first fragrance. I have it here. It's in a little bottle. It has a little pearl floating in it. It's got this weird kind of plastic skirt around the top. So the bottle's glass with like a plastic top. There's no lid. I can't say that I think the bottle is anything special. It's this plastic thing, the top's kind of pearly colored, I guess to go with the pearl inside. And now I'm gonna spray it and tell you my impressions. And then I'm gonna go on fragrantica.com and read you what other people have to say about it. Fragrantica.com is a really fun website, especially for nostalgic scents. You should go on there, read the reviews, because sometimes people write wonderful reviews. So I want to share that with you today. So let's spray some Noah. Okay. I'm spraying it on one arm because I'm going to do the second perfume on the other arm. Okay, now Noah's an inexpensive perfume, which means the first hit that I get from it is unfortunately alcohol. Then I'm getting some kind of white flower and sort of a powdery musk kind of a smell. It's so gentle and inoffensive. It's very feminine. Like I said, when Mimi sprayed it, she just smelled like a fashion magazine to me. Maybe this is where it's important to say I don't read fashion magazines. I think I read my last Cosmo magazine in 2002, which was about the point when I realized every issue is exactly the same. They're all the same. It's the same every issue, and it probably still is. I bet if I opened up cosmopolitan.com the first headline would be how to please your man, and the next one would be about some sort of body insecurity thing, and then the rest of it would just be about how to part you and your money. So I just stopped buying all that stuff. The only time I see a fashion magazine is if I'm in a hair salon, which isn't very often. So does this seem like shade? Am I throwing shade on magazines? Look, I love K-pop and K-dramas, so I get that it's possible to like things that are a bit popular and light. So if magazines are your thing, you go for it. But I don't buy these things. That's why when I smelled Mimi's perfume, I thought she smells like a magazine. Okay, it's drying down a little bit. It's slightly soapy. It's slightly soapy incense, a little bit. It's a smell that's not gonna offend anyone. It doesn't project very far. The sillage is not very big. It's the kind of thing you'd have to be fairly close, I think, to smell it. Your cat won't attack you if you wear this. If you are sharing a car with someone who is sensitive to perfumes, probably this won't bother them. It's just the mildest, most gentle fragrance. That's what I think. And now I'm going to read for you what Fragrantica.com has to say about it. Okay, they say, Noah by Cacharel is a floral woody musk fragrance for women. Noah was launched in 1998. The nose behind this fragrance is Oliver Cresp. The top notes are white musk, peony, freesia, green notes, peach and plum. Middle notes are lily, lily of the valley, jasmine, green grass, ylang ylang, and rose. And the base notes are coffee, sandalwood, vanilla, coriander, incense, tonka bean, and cedar. The little quote blurb says, Noah is a small planet in your hand with a pearl inside. Noah is a transparent composition of flowers, delicate spices, velvety fruit nuances, and the energizing power of coffee beans. This fragrance is like a tender whisper, feminine and subtle, weightless, but with a noticeable presence. Tender, powdery top notes of freesia, peach skin, peony, and musk lead to a floral heart of white flowers, ylang ylang, and rose. The base is woodsy and transparent with coffee and incense touches. It's a bit floral, but I don't sense the flowers first. Maybe the ylang ylang has kind of a buttery feeling. People think of this as a daytime spring fragrance, but because I don't wear perfume very often, I associate it with nighttime and cooler weather. So I'm not really in the majority of the people on Fragrantica as far as what they sense from this perfume. Let's see. I'm going to read you what some people say. Oh, somebody named, her name is Veronica, just wrote a review 37 minutes ago. She said, bought blind as inexpensive. I find it light and elegant scent that wears easily for day in a subtle way. The sillage is larger than some others. Its scent is lovely floral anchored by spices and woods. Never intrusive, but you kind of feel like the pearl in the bubble when wearing it. Moderate sillage and bottle is not purse friendly, so plan ahead for a long day. That's true. It doesn't have a lid, so you can't stick it in your bag. It'll spritz out. Okay, but yeah, it is floral, and it isn't intrusive. Now, there's a lovely lady with a Cyrillic username that I cannot pronounce. I'm so sorry, but she wrote this on November 11th of this year. She says, so I tried this in the store and fell in love with it. So soft, so comforting and pleasant. Exactly the type of smell I always wanted to have and to become my fragrance. And yet, without knowing its birth year, it gave me that 90s vibe that I love so much. And although I was very young then, I still remember very well. That literally worked as a time machine. I tried it on my skin and could not stop sniffing it. Just so good. And several days later, I got a full-sized bottle of Noah. What was my disappointment when I showered myself with the so perfect scent? Nothing like what I smelled in the store. A sharp, super sterile smell that somehow made me anxious. Just the awful coriander that makes it smell like some chemical for killing germs. What happened? Where is the pretty comforting smell? I have not been that disappointed with a fragrance in my life. I don't know how to vote here. I love what I smelled in the store, but I hate what I got. It sounds like maybe she got a bad bottle. Maybe it was stored poorly. Sometimes that can happen. Now, this next review is from October, 30th of October of this year, 2020, and it's by someone named Hexed, who says, spicy, light, floral, greenish, very interesting, austere. It's something I could imagine on a nurse. There's something that feels almost antiseptic, but it also feels surprisingly dark. I imagine a nun drinking an espresso. I'm actually very surprised and impressed with this. I thought that this was something that would have been repeated multiple times since the 90s, but I, personally, haven't really smelled anything quite like this. People who like Kenzo flower would probably enjoy this as well. Just below it is a review from October 11th, 2020 by someone called Jare de Luce. It's, please forgive me mispronouncing these usernames. They say, personal opinion, probably the worst perfume I've ever come across in my life. Smells like burnt soap. Terrible. Everyone's taste is so different, isn't it? Okay. Here's one by someone called Kronstadt from October 10th, 2020. An exceptional powdery white flower vanilla scent. It's not from a house usually spoken of with reverence, but I think Noah is hugely underrated. A versatile, warmer weather office perfume that really provides a clean and beautiful sillage. Projects enough for you to share, but really holds its own for you and those close to you. The initial spray is glorious, but the dry down is just like a jasmine body wash with quality imprinted in its DNA. You know, I don't catch the jasmine on it. I don't think that comes out on when I wear it. I think it smells like the ghost of a better perfume. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't get the jasmine. I mainly get maybe lily of the valley and incense. And a very mild musk. Here's someone called Jutaji who wrote on August 30th, I've been wearing this for 20 years and always wondered about the reviews that say Noah smells like coffee. I've never gotten it. until today. I had a cup of coffee in my hand and got a whiff of Noah on my wrist, and now I get the coffee and fruit aromas. Never gotten the fruit either. It's always been a musky, vanilla, lily of the valley heaven for me. This person's review sounds closer to what it smells like on me. She says, "This is my go-to perfume. I can't put words to it. It's just pure love for me and Noah. In the 2000s, there was a period where you couldn't get Cacharel scents in my country, and I used to pester anyone smelling of Noah until they sold their bottles to me. Now I always have to have a bottle or two if the first one is running low." That's funny because I don't think that Noah projects. I don't know that I would necessarily recognize if someone else was wearing Noah. Diana 2727. So boring and nondescript. I feel like it's got no soul. At least it's safe and inoffensive. That's true. It is very inoffensive. You could buy it as a gift for someone and it would not offend them. This 90s classic surprises with its timelessness. This is Fragrance 555 from June 16th, 2020. If you're looking for an embodiment of clean, then this is it. After all these years, it still does feel relevant and very wearable. I must admit that it does remind me a little bit of Clé Yves Rocher 1981, as if Noah 1989 was a perfected and more sophisticated, more modern version of that classic. Thanks to its creamy soapiness and musky, close to the skin, comforting quality. Yeah, it's comforting smelling. It is definitely a cocooning scent that works like a gentle protecting shield, preferably for the day. It is a white scent, if that makes sense, very pure and innocent, even divine, if you will. It opens with the clean freshness of an elegant soap from the 80s or 90s, and then it transforms into a milky, heavenly, abstract fog around you. To me, it is a wonderful classic fragrance that has its own distinct presence without being too much in any way. Very hypnotic and addictive, inviting with its subtle and mysterious nature, timeless and elegant. I wouldn't call it sexy, but it's definitely a feminine scent that refers to feminine qualities. I would even go one step further and call it motherly because of its protectiveness. Just like the pearl trapped in its bottle, Noah feels very fragile yet strong, and there's this baby-like innocent feel to it. It has a good staying power despite its airiness. I can sense it on my skin and clothes for hours, and I can't seem to get enough of it. Noah Cacharel is a dreamy, creamy magic in a bottle, a real peacemaker, highly recommended if you need a little getaway during the day, definitely for an idealist or a dreamer. These people are so kind. It is nice. I kind of was criticizing a little bit because it's so safe and kind of it's not a fragrance that demands anything of your nose. It's so mild, and it's not going to make your cats angry. It's not going to annoy your coworkers. But these people who really like it have nice things to say. So we've got Gin Cat's books here from June 14th, 2020, who says, Noah is simple. It's a very pure, clean scent, but is far from being your average plain Jane. It's also not stripped or sterile either. Noah is the perfect mix of being clean, but also being warm and having something special about it. The main notes that stand out to me are white musk, sandalwood, lily, and there is something slightly green and bitter which finishes off with vanilla. I'm assuming this is the coffee note. It smells unassuming at first, but it really blooms and opens up on the skin to become this warm, soft, blankety scent. It's like a hug in a bottle or like wearing a freshly washed t-shirt. It's also never too overbearing or heavy or too light, perfect for casual daily wear or the office. Everything always feels good and effortless whenever I wear Noah. It's a great jeans and t-shirt straight out of the shower fragrance. Noah isn't one that I reach for all the time, but when I do wear it, I remember why I like it. Sillage is soft and longevity is moderate. It can be picked up for a great price. It really is a modern classic, and I think everyone should try this at least once. Male, female, it smells wonderful. So that's quite nice. Nice review. Oh, I like this. Agneta Ziloska. My apologies to you. On May 21st of this year, she says, "This is a very beautiful fragrance. My mom, this is how I see her in a blue mohair sweater in winter when she goes to the store to buy this for me. I did not like it at first, but at her skin, this is getting remarkable. I do not feel coffee, only warm flowers and musk. So cozy and peaceful." Yeah, it is. Oh, I love this. Ostrakan on May 11th, 2020 says, "Such a calming, comforting scent, soft and powdery, a little bit green. It smells like some sort of lotion, nice for everyday use and not offensive in my opinion. I think it could be mistaken for a nice hand cream. Love it." So there's a lot of reviews, but a lot of positive reviews. Kitty de Beauvoir, March 22nd, says, "This is a warm, comforting happiness in a romantic bottle. Noah's an absolute gem, pearl of a scent. Pretty, understated, intoxicating, classic, and lovey-dovey are just some of the words that come to mind." See, this sounds so much better than me saying it smells inoffensive. It's a delightful peony musk with a mild, sweet, rosy vanilla air and a warm, enchanting, woody base. I don't smell coffee, but hearing it's in here delights me. This is basically what I hoped Chloe was going to be, with slightly less rose perhaps. It's the more sophisticated and well-blended cousin to Nirvana White. I first received a bottle of this perfume as a gift from two of my friends in high school. I only recently got a sample after so many years, and I am buying a bottle as soon as humanly possible. I need this in my life. This is the Perfume of Angels, 8.5 out of 10. Oh, I like this. Seba Dancer. On February 22nd, 2020 says, "So, I'm a 6-foot muscular man, and this stuff makes me so happy. It's my secret embarrassing beach holiday scent. It's like a hug from my mom when I'm far from home. Powder, flowers, love. It lasts half an hour." That's about right. Sounds about right to me. "But it costs 1/10 of what I usually spend on a bottle, so I don't mind showering in it every time I'm in the mood for it. Such a great smell." Yeah, lots of people saying they feel nostalgic about it. So, that is Noah, just some of what people have to say about Noah, and that is the perfume that I tend to wear the most. Not every day, but that's what I've been wearing the last few years when I do wear something. Now, this next perfume I don't actually like very much. So the second perfume is one that I bought at the train station when I was waiting for the Eurostar to come back from Paris. I had been on vacation in Paris with my sisters and my sister's niece, and we were waiting for our train. And there was a gift shop, and there was perfume for sale, and I thought, oh gosh, I should have bought perfume so that I can always remember my trip to Paris. It was so hot, the middle of summer. I was just absolutely melting. I think I just must have been in such a state of complete meltiness the entire time, but I loved Paris. I just can't tell you how wonderful it was to be so surprised by how much I liked it. I kind of worried that maybe Paris was overrated and maybe I wasn't going to like it that much. But when we got there and we were walking by the River Seine and it was just meltingly hot and people were out and the atmosphere was incredible and I just loved it. I can't wait to go back. I'm just dreaming. I mean, the food we ate and the museums. Now, the Louvre was great, but the Louvre is so big. You need a lot of time. And think there is a problem with really large museums, is that sometimes there's just too much, whereas a smaller museum that's little has to be more stringently curated. Sometimes is more fun to visit than a museum that has everything. But I'm totally digressing. Anyway, I loved Paris, and then I got to the train station and I bought some perfume on a whim that now I don't actually like very much, and that is Vervain. It's just in this little bottle with this pretty picture on it. Now I'm gonna try and spray some on my other arm. Okay. Now, what can I say about this? It is lemon verbena. It has a much cleaner opening than Noah. I don't smell alcohol. I only smell lemon verbena. It's like a lemon sweet. You know, it's very fresh, very clean. It's a very pleasant smell. But it's also not what I want to smell like and what I want to smell all the time. So I bought it based on the first flush of how pleasant and clean that lemon verbena was in that hot summer. But what I find is, aside from it kind of reminding me of the Eurostar, I don't really associate it with Paris because I didn't wear it while I was walking around Paris. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'd bought it at the beginning of the trip, maybe it would bring back stronger memories, and instead of that, I just get mega blast of lemon verbena, and then it dries down like a sugary lemon drop and becomes too much very quickly. I find this particular perfume, it doesn't last too long, and I don't think it projects very far. I don't think other people can really smell it on you. But if I were to spray more than just one spritz, I think it would give me a headache. So let's see what they say on Fragrantica. They list the main accords as citrus, woody, fresh, and spicy. I don't really get anything besides the citrus. So it says Vervain by Fragonard is a floral fragrance for women. Vervain was launched in 2018. The nose behind this fragrance is Celine Elena. Top notes are lemon verbena, grapefruit, and itzy cubeba. Please pardon my pronunciation. Middle notes are jasmine and ylang ylang, and the base note is woody notes. Sorry, you can hear my chair creaking. Hope it's okay. Right. Oh, someone, Caselisa says, this is from August 12, 2020, says, I first tried Vervain in the summer of 2018 when I toured Fragonard's factory in Ez, and they were pushing the fragrance as their flower of the year. I grabbed a sample on my way out after buying a few bottles of Perfume, and on my way back to the hotel, I tried it and was kicking myself that I didn't give it a chance in the store. Luckily for me, there was a Fragonard outlet in the Nice airport with plenty of Vervain in stock and on display front and center. I bought it as quick as I could, and it's been one of my favorites ever since. Very fresh, bright, and citrusy, with the verbena being complemented so nicely with grapefruit, ylang ylang, and some woody base notes I can't quite trace. A great simple scent for summertime and every day, especially when you want to feel clean and energized. I'm so glad that Fragonard changed their regular florals formula to match the limited FOTY, I don't know what that means, formula, because I'm running out of my original bottle and I was dreading going on a treasure hunt to find another. I think of my last few days in France whenever I wear it, and the nostalgia has probably made me more biased than I am with other fragrance reviews, but whatever. Whether I'm in Nice or New Jersey, I still love it. Right, we have that in common, that she bought it at the end of her trip, and I bought mine at the end of my trip. Anamandi says, what date was this? January 2019. I just bought this for my sister and received it today. She tried it on and it smelled like a lemon slice dipped in sugar or a very sweet lemonade. Then that changed and a very light white floral fragrance came through with a citrus tinge. Very nice, though very linear. But she said she liked it, which is all that matters. She said she'll enjoy wearing it next summer. The only issue I personally have is why are so many Fragonard scents simply skin scents? I had to get right next to her in order to smell it and then could just barely. Finally, I sprayed it on my own wrist so that I could get a good smell of it. For her, that is a good thing because she doesn't like fragrances that are overwhelming. She said she'd rather have less than more. But Fragonard, if you're going to sell a perfume, shouldn't it be more than just a skin scent? Honestly, I've smelled body mists that have more projection. Zen Baby Love on December 12th, 2018 says, this is fresh, light, and citrusy, but not too lemony and doesn't smell like a cleaning product. It reminds me of sugar-coated lemon candy, a bit of white flower petals, and a bit of lime blossom. I love it and will purchase again. It's definitely perfect for spring and summer. Andrino from May 28th, 2018 says, perfect if you want to smell like a fresh lemon tree. Imoreno 29 says in April 18th, 2018, I like this Vervain a lot more than the one in their Naturels collection. While they're both very verbena-y, this one is more powdery floral scent on my skin with a faint lemony note. I kind of get powder, but it's mostly lemon verbena on me. This person continues to say, this one, however, is much more citrus with a strong lime grapefruit note that settles into a light jasmine leaning floral, very fresh and wearable. Sweet Wifey X from April 10th, 2018 says, I'm not sure if this is similar to the Vervain EDT in the bigger bottle, but I think the notes are a little different. They made this scent more wearable any time of the year. The opening is citrusy, sweet lime, reminds me of fresh brown sugar or JM sweet lemon. Then it quickly morphs into a fresh floral clean scent, reminds me of JM silk blossom. I love how it stays close to my skin, so clean and fresh. This would be a nice unisex perfume too. Longevity is good, sillage is moderate, love it, and the beautiful dry down. Now, those are the only reviews for this fragrance. Noah had a lot more reviews. So, this is a pleasant, generally regarded as pleasant fragrance, and it is a nice fragrance, but I'm not crazy about it. It doesn't smell bad, I just don't love it. So these are my 2 perfume reviews for now. Now, what I'm hoping to do later is another review, but this time of 2 quite controversial perfumes. Ones that are more Marmite perfumes that I think the reviews on Fragrantica are going to be very all or nothing, and I'm a little bit excited about that. The one fragrance, I won't tell which ones yet, it's one that my mom used to wear, so it's quite classic and nostalgic. It's a very famous perfume. It's very, very famous, and probably most of you will have heard of it or know it, or your moms wore it, or your aunties, or maybe you wear it. And I didn't like it as a child, but I want to see how I like it as an adult, and it makes me think of my mom. So it's COVID, so no one's traveling anywhere. I haven't seen my mom in a while, so I want to have that nostalgic scent vacation since I can't go anywhere. So that's why I bought that. And the second perfume I've never smelled, but it has very divided opinions on Fragrantica, and I'm a little bit excited to try it. It's an 80s perfume, and it's also from Cacharel. That's all I'll say. It's one that got a 5-star rating from a really famous perfume reviewer. It's my understanding. So it's sure to divide opinions, sure to create opinions, and I like that. So I want to say thank you for joining me tonight, and hope to see you all again soon. Bye-bye.